This is Stella, and I wanted to tell you what happened when Stella did not want to eat the other day.
Stella, Splash, Simba, Hydrox, Ditto, and Boo, the lucky ferals.
So out of all of the cats, Stella really enjoys food the most. When Stella was a young cat, she was a feral cat living outside, and she had 2 kittens, and she was starving. And when she came to my yard looking for help, I fed her, and she was very happy. So she kept coming around for food, and I kept feeding her, and then eventually she showed me her kittens. And ever since then, Stella says she never wants to be hungry again. So Stella loves food. Right, Stella? And out of all the cats, Stella is a real foodie. She loves tasting different foods and trying different foods. When I'm making homemade raw food for the cats, Stella is the one that has to taste it first. So Stella really enjoys food. It's very unusual for Stella to want to skip a meal. Splash, on the other hand, is afraid of new foods. So instead of wanting to try new foods, he's the exact opposite of Stella. He's afraid of new foods, and he'll often skip a meal if it's a new food that he hasn't had before. But sometimes he'll go back and he'll eat it later. So if Splash skips a meal, it's really not a cause of concern. But if Stella skips a meal, then a red flag is raised. It's like, okay, something is going on here. So the other day, Stella decided she did not want to eat breakfast. I gave all the cats their breakfast and she just didn't want it. She walked away. So I moved the plate over to where she was, and she still didn't want it. And I was like, okay, that's really strange for Stella. She must not be feeling good. I tried giving her some crunchies, which is some dried cat food, and she didn't want that either. So I decided I would wait and see what happens. Would she eat her dinner, or would she not eat her dinner? So during the day, Stella appeared to be pretty much her normal self. She was playing. She was jumping to the top of the cat towers. It seemed to be like a regular day for her. She did spend some time sleeping downstairs, but that's not unusual for her. She likes to sleep downstairs with Splash sometimes and take naps during the day. The 2 of them like some private time down there. So I didn't think anything was strange again until dinner, and Stella did not want to eat her dinner. I was like, okay, there is definitely some kind of an issue going on here. So she backed away from her food, she moved to the other side of the room, and she kind of just sat there or laid there for a while, and I tried to get her to eat a squeeze up, and she didn't even want to eat a squeeze up. So I was like, okay, something is definitely going on here. Stella definitely does not feel well. And with cats, when they're not eating, you have to be very careful with that, because if they go too long without eating, they can get what is known as hepatic lipidosis, which is basically a fatty liver. So that is something that can actually be fatal in cats. So if they stop eating, you definitely want to keep them under strict observation, and you want to keep track of how long it's been since they've eaten a decent quantity of food. So since Stella had not eaten her breakfast and she did not want to eat her dinner, she did not even want to eat a snack. So I made a mental note of that, thinking, okay, this is going on a full day now of not eating, so this is not good. I might have to take her to the vet. Later that night, probably around 10 p.m., it was crunchy time, and Stella did not want to eat crunchies either. She walked away from the crunchies. I was like, okay, this is definitely not like Stella. Something is definitely wrong. Now, a few days prior to this, when I was scooping out the litter boxes that the cats use, I had noticed that someone was constipated. So instead of just scooping normal cat poop, I was scooping some cat poop that looked like little round cannonballs or little marbles, and that's like a sign of constipation. I actually thought it was Splash, so I had been giving him some extra fish oil in his meal. So then when Stella wasn't eating, I said, okay, maybe it was Stella instead. So what I did was, after she did not want the crunchies that night, I put some coconut oil on her paws, on both of her front paws, and she settled down under the Christmas tree. There's a round cat bed under the Christmas tree, and she licked all the coconut oil off her paws because even though she wasn't hungry, she did not want coconut oil on her paws. So that's what happened that night. Then I went to bed, and the next morning I saw Stella and I said, okay, Stella, how you doing today? And she seemed to be doing good. She was acting pretty much her normal self. And I said, do you want to eat something? So I got her a squeeze up, and she ate a squeeze up. I was like, wow, this is really good. She's at least eating a squeeze up. So then I got her to eat another squeeze up. Now squeeze ups are only 7 calories each. So a cat has to eat a fairly good amount of squeeze ups in order for them to get all the calories that they need for a full day. So now that Stella was eating squeeze ups, I said, let me see if I could get her to eat some kind of canned food. When she was outside and I was training her to come inside, one of her favorite foods was the Sheba Perfect Portions. So I went downstairs to my cat food cabinet. I have like a whole cabinet full of cat food. And I dug out whatever I had that was the most similar to that. It was a package of some kind of Sheba. And I gave it to her, and she actually took a few bites of it. She did not finish it. She maybe only ate like a fourth of it, but it was a lot better than the previous day when she did not want to eat anything. So I knew I was making progress with Stella. She was doing better, that she was eating something, even if it was only squeeze ups and, you know, the gravy on food. So I went out to the store and I stocked up on squeeze ups and churros, and I bought her some of the Sheba Perfect Portions, and I came back, and every hour or so I fed her a squeeze up and she ate them. And squeeze ups are about 90% liquid. That's what it says on it. It says about 90% liquid. So although they're not a complete food for cats, they're not exactly the healthiest food for cats. If a cat's not eating and they're eating that, that's a good thing. And at least they're getting hydration because they're getting liquid with each squeeze up that they eat. And Stella was not drinking water, so I was like, at least she's getting liquids in the squeeze ups. Over the course of that day, she had more than 10 squeeze ups. She had a lot of squeeze ups. And then I found out that she absolutely loves churros. She went crazy over the churros much more than the squeeze ups. So that was good. And she actually ate a little bit more of a Sheba Perfect Portion. She ate about half of a Sheba Perfect Portion. So I kept track of how many calories she had that day, and she had about 150 calories that day just out of squeeze ups and the little bit of Sheba canned or wet cat food that she was eating. Another thing that I did that day was I put some olive oil on her paws because I gave her the coconut oil the night before and she was better the next day, like a little bit better, not 100%, but a little bit. So I said, let me give her the olive oil because that has a little bit more of a laxative effect. And I thought, we'll see what happens with that. So I put the olive oil on her paws. She was not happy with it. She eventually licked it off and I was like, okay, we'll see what happens. But then also because I realized that she absolutely loved churros, I went back out to another pet store and I stocked up on more churros. And I also bought a tube of Laxatone, which is a hairball relief medication for cats. It's sold over the counter. I normally don't use it because it's made of petroleum products like mineral oil, petroleum jelly, and I'm not really a fan of that. But because of Stella's situation, I said, let's try this. It might be stronger than the olive oil and the coconut oil, and we'll just see what happens. It says you can put some on your cat's nose and also on your cat's paws. So I actually did both. I put a little bit on her nose. She was not happy. And I put a little bit on her paws, and again, she was not happy. And just remembering it makes her want to give herself a bath right now. So she ended up licking it off, but it did the trick because within a half hour, she walked over to the litter box and she had what I would call a loose bowel movement. The reason I know that is because I followed her into the room to see what she was going to do, and I looked at the litter box right away when she was using it. So the laxative effect of the Laxatone definitely kicked in, and I took that as a good sign. So if she was constipated, at least things were moving again. And she still did not want to eat crunchies that night. So she had a few more squeeze ups or churros. And again, during the course of the day, I probably was able to get 150, 160 calories into her, which, you know, I thought was a good amount, considering she wasn't feeling well. And then that night, she slept on the sofa downstairs. Sometimes she does that, so I didn't think anything was strange with that. And thankfully, I have security cameras all over the house. So what happened was I woke up the next day and I checked on the security camera footage to see like what was going on. And around 3 a.m., Stella woke up from where she was laying downstairs, and she walked over to what I would call the back half of the downstairs area. And then she made her way upstairs, and she spent the rest of the night sleeping in the penthouse, which is on top of an armoire in my bedroom. And so she woke up around 8 a.m. and she walked out of the penthouse to the cat tower that's next to it, and she took a flying leap from the cat tower to my bed, and then from there she jumped down. So I knew she was feeling better for her to do that. So I thought that was a good sign. She was feeling a little bit better than she was the day before. That next morning, she also ate some squeeze ups, and she also ate some raw food. It was the Nature's Variety Instinct raw chicken bites. I had purchased those also because I knew she really liked those. And since they're small bites, I figured they would be easy for her to eat. Maybe it would be something easy on her stomach. So she ate about a half cup of those, which is a serving size. So I was like, okay, maybe Stella's back to normal. We're definitely moving in a good direction because she's doing better than she was the day before. When I went downstairs to give the rest of the cats their breakfast, I saw that Stella had puked on one of the rugs downstairs. So after she took the Laxatone, she used the litter box, and then several hours later she puked. So she cleaned herself out from both ends, front end and back end. So it could be that she had a hairball and constipation at the same time, and that's why she wasn't feeling good. But thankfully, the Laxatone helped to get things moving for her, and it helped us avoid a trip to the vet. So when Stella went to the vet last summer for a diarrhea issue, we spent a few hours at the vet, and it cost over $1,200 for them to tell me that she's fine. All the tests came back normal, and maybe she just has an upset stomach, and I should give her some probiotics. So when this happened this time, and I was able to avoid a trip to the vet by helping Stella at home, I was really happy about that, because I don't know about near you, but around here, all of the animal hospitals and all of the vets have just been super busy, over capacity, and all of their prices have been raised really high. So that's one of the reasons why I wanted to share this story with you. If your cat stops eating, it's very important that you pay attention to that and you act accordingly. If they skip one meal, that's fine, but if they skip an entire day of eating, you definitely have to start taking action. And it's a really good idea to have different types of cat food and different types of cat snacks available if a situation like that comes up. Like, thankfully, I had lots of squeeze ups in the house because I've been giving Ditto squeeze ups on his food, so I was able to get a lot of squeeze ups into Stella and get her calories that way and get her hydration that way. And then I also had some really stinky wet cat food. I was able to get her to eat a little bit of that, and then I was able to go out and buy more of the squeeze ups and the churros and some of the Shiba Perfect portions just to get her through this little incident and recovery from this constipation or hairball congestion or upset stomach. Sometimes when you don't feel good, you don't want to eat, which is the same for cats. And then sometimes when you don't feel good, you do want to eat, but you don't actually want to eat the healthiest foods. You might want to eat something that's light and easy on the stomach. Like if I'm sick, I'm not craving a big bowl of salad or a bunch of steamed vegetables. I'm usually craving a bowl of soup or maybe some toast or something that's just really easy to digest. So it's the same thing for cats, and it's a really good idea to always keep some extra squeeze ups on hand, some extra churros on hand, some extra wet cat food that they really, really like. Even if it's something that you would think is junk food for cats, sometimes if a cat isn't feeling well, it might be the only thing that they want to eat. And it might get you through a situation until the cat feels better. So since then, Stella has been feeling better. She's been enjoying her meals and crunchies and snack time. And I'm definitely making sure she gets brushed every day. With all the time and care I've been giving to Ditto, I have not been brushing the cats every day, so I need to make sure that I do that. And of course, it's always good to make sure your cats have plenty of fresh water, multiple water bowls. So that's another thing that you always have to consider. Make sure you're refilling the water bowls on a daily basis with fresh water. And make sure you're giving your cats lots of pets. Pets are really good for their lymphatic system and their circulation. It's just like a massage for humans. Make sure you give your cats a massage, keep things moving around for them. And of course, playtime, you want them to move around also, get some exercise. So Stella says she's a little bit tired right now. She's tired of hearing me talking. But I just wanted to let you know what happened when Stella stopped eating the other day, because it can be a very serious situation for a cat, and you want to make sure you pay attention to things like that. And you want to make sure that you respond quickly to it. Don't let a cat go 2, 3, or 4 days without eating anything. They could get very sick from that. Even if you have to give them 10 squeeze ups a day, at least they're getting some calories in, and at least they're getting hydration from it. So I just wanted to let you know about our experience. Have you had a similar experience with your cat? If you have, please leave a comment below this video and let us know what you did and what that was like for you and your cat. And Stella says she needs to take a nap now, so I'm going to finish this video. Thanks for watching, guys. Have a great day. Bye. Thank you for watching this Lucky Ferals video. If you enjoyed it, please give it a thumbs up. Please subscribe if you'd like me to post more videos, and please make sure to check out these other videos that were selected especially for you.